Good morning, everybody. You learned from yesterday, huh? Yes, so today is the 2nd of June, 2017. We're again in the Assembly of Stars Meditation Hall, Lower Hamlet. And the second full day of our retreat together, the business retreat or the busy less retreat. Sister Gina coined the phrase. Are you enjoying the practice? Yeah. Okay. Oh, there's some not quite sure yet. One of the Dharma seals of Plum Village, Sister Gina mentioned the logo, mindfulness, concentration and insight. I think it's up. Is it up there? No, that's the other one. That's our friend, spiritual friend, the Buddha. We have in Plum Village a seal. I have arrived, I am home. So it's a way to say the essence of the practice. When you are invited to come back to yourself, you're finding your true home inside yourself. Finding that place where you can feel stable, at ease. So the word home hopefully gives us the sense of somewhere safe, somewhere where we belong, where there is love. And we can find that for ourselves, in ourselves, when we come back to ourselves with each mindful breath. Breathing in, I arrive in my body. Breathing out, I feel at home in my body. Happy to be there and happy to be here. The practice is present-centered. It means we don't talk about the practice as something that will come, something coming later. It's present-centered. We observe what is going on in us and around us. We try to get in contact with the reality that life is taking place in the present moment. And that is where we can connect with life and what is really going on. And Sister Gina talked about creating a beautiful past. And the past, in a way, can be unmasked by being in the present. By being truly present, we see more clearly what is our past, including maybe our inner child, our 5-year-old inside. Our 5-year-old is there in us, still alive. Maybe it's been lonely for a while, and it would like us to bring him or her out to play. Our parents, our ancestors are also in us and can be found in the present moment, in the living reality of who we are right now. So the past may seem to be hidden from us, but it is hidden in the present. We just have to discover the present get in connection with the present, and everything is there. And that also goes for the future. So when we come back to ourselves, and with our mindful breathing, we can also take care of what is there. If there is some emotional difficulty, if there is something arising in us, by coming back home, we have an opportunity to take care of what is going on. So we can take care of our suffering. This is a way to say that we can offer compassion to ourselves. So in the first instance, we befriend ourselves. We befriend ourselves by just coming back and saying hello, recognizing, oh, I'm here. This body is here. I have this body, and you find yourself getting acquainted with yourself. And then there is also, if there is something to take care of, you take care. So you offer compassion. And we accept what is there. We don't exclude and say, this is not something I want right now. We say, okay, you are there too. Maybe with the teaching of right attention, Yonaso Manaskara, we make sure we pay attention to positive things as well, to nourish our joy and our happiness. But at the same time, we don't suppress or exclude what is there, even if it's difficult for us. We say, you have a right to be there, and you're part of my life, and I accept. When we do this practice, we discover we can trust in the present moment, trust in ourself. Coming back to ourself, we discover this is a place I can be and take care of things. I don't necessarily need to take a drug or take alcohol to cope. I don't even necessarily need to ring a friend. I may be able to take care and be with what is. I may not need to turn the radio on in the car to feel that I'm not lonely. Because when we befriend ourselves and able to be there, we find that actually it's quite nice company. It's not so bad after all. I quite like myself. And actually, when we get curious about who we are, get curious even just about our body, we discover a complete miracle. If you're a cell biologist, you'll think that the cell itself, just one cell, and there are trillions of cells that make up the community of our body, is a miracle. And yet there is this incredible harmony of the cells together in this one body, all doing different things, maybe like in a company. There's lots of different activities going on, but they're all part of one body. That's why when we talk about Plum Village, we prefer to talk about an organism rather than an organization. I was contemplating if a liver cell, which is highly differentiated to do the function of the liver, thinks about what the brain cell is up to, or a cell in the heart. They're doing their thing, and yet they're part of a whole. So we get used to taking for granted the miracle of life. In a way, talking about enlightenment, the first, most powerful enlightenment is to recognize I am alive, and life is a miracle. Breathing in, I know I am alive. Breathing out, I smile with gratitude for life. When we're in touch with the preciousness of our own life, it's very natural that we get in touch with a reverence for all life. And we naturally would want to protect, would want to do something to enhance and contribute our part to life being, to reducing suffering and for there to be joy. What I've just described to you is I've gone through 6 elements of love. The 6 elements of love, I think at some point I'll write them on the board for you, but just to say what they are. Friendship, befriending ourselves. Compassion, taking care of ourselves. So this is self-love, self-compassion. Joy, touching the element of joy in us and around us. Inclusiveness, accepting what is, not discriminating against this or that. Trust. Trusting in ourselves, trusting in life, trusting in the practice. And the last one, reverence. Where we get in touch with the miracle and the preciousness of this life. I'll go into those a little bit more. They're sometimes termed the immeasurable minds. There is a quote from a book called The Little Prince, one of Thai's favorite books. It is only with the heart that we can see rightly. That would be a right view. What is essential is invisible to the eye. So that which cannot be measured, something like love, you cannot see it, touch it, taste it. Maybe you say when your mother cooks you a beautiful dish, you taste the love from the cooking. So maybe there's expressions of love that we experience with our senses because we give it that meaning, we feel in touch with the expression of love. We try to get to the essence of what love is, and we find we cannot measure it, it's invisible in a certain sense to the senses. And yet they are essential. Essential to our happiness, to our life, and for us to have a sense of meaning and purpose. What would our life be without friendship, without brotherhood and sisterhood? What would be our life like if there was no compassion? There was no capacity to be with suffering, but we were always running away. And no understanding of other people's suffering. Compassion means to suffer with, means to be able to put ourselves in the shoes of the other. How would life be without joy? And if thinking of the next one, inclusiveness, if we were always separating ourselves and had no ability to connect and include, and also to let go. The fourth element of love is the ability to let go. Let go of the discrimination and let go of that which is not love. It may be letting go of ability to let go of craving. The ability to let go of a wrong perception or an idea. In the introduction to the Avalokiteshvara chant, Phap Lai invited us to let go of resentment. That would be a concrete offering to world peace. If you recognized one resentment that you were jealously holding on to, this is my precious resentment for this person. You know, sometimes we may experience our resentment as something that in a strange way, you know, it's our thing that it gives us something, maybe some feeling of relief because we were hurt. So we nurture. we hold on to a resentment. To be able to let go. It's not so easy. Sounds easy to say, not so easy to do. And then how would life be without trust? If you couldn't trust those around you, you can't trust in society. And sometimes our trust is challenged. We don't want to have blind trust. But we also know that trust is something, as an element of love, it is something to offer. But start by offering trust to yourself. Trusting in yourself. And lastly, what would life be like if there wasn't this sense of wonder and appreciation? Gratitude. Gratitude is a kind of an immeasurable mind. But we know it when we have it. It's something we're very, very grateful to have gratitude. When we don't have it, we know it too. And we know we feel a bit miserable without it. So, part of what I wanted to share is what is the possibility of love in business. It's not a word you often hear associated with business. It's not a very macho word. And yet, if you do break love down into those 6 elements, friendship, compassion, joy, inclusiveness, trust, reverence and respect for life, I think they go well. I think they're maybe even essential to consider in a business, especially in a business community where we want to, we haven't quite got to the stage where all the businesses are run by computers. So while we are a business of people, businessmen and businesswomen, how about we have this, what is the place for love in the business? Because the potential for our workplace to be a place of growth and friendship, a place where we feel at home and where there can be joy, and all of these elements is there. But we maybe have to look and see how we can bring it in. One practice we have in Plum Village is beginning anew, and there is a special there will be a special session on beginning anew, led by Phap Lai, and I encourage you for this because it's a very, very practical way we can bring love, communication, and happiness into our community. It can be in our family, in our community, and our workplace. The beginning a new practice, as we call it, is very simply put a chance to come together, for instance, as colleagues, maybe sit very similar to the way you're sitting for the sharing circles, in a similar way, not interrupting each other, one person sharing at a time, having a bell to bring us back to ourselves, bring us back to the breath. And then with that collective concentration and listening energy, let each other know how we're doing. And let each other know what we appreciate about each other, concretely. And maybe also a chance to say, I'm sorry, express regret for something that may have caused a difficulty for the other person. But just to express your appreciation is already a huge thing. In Plum Village we call it flower watering. You water the flower of the person. I think maybe expressing appreciation works better in a business environment. But I have witnessed, I've had it reported from people in companies of doing this in a skillful way, where they are able to bring this practice in. A huge benefit, and a sort of unexpected benefit from something so simple as just colleagues recognizing and expressing some appreciation for their colleagues, like that. I've seen it happen in schools, where teachers who are very wholeheartedly all working towards the same joyful value of having a lovely school, taking care of the children. They've got lots of good intention, but the colleagues, the staff themselves, are not taking care of each other as a staff community, as a part of the school community. The teachers themselves need to support each other, but they're just passing each other. And so what happens is, when they come together and they just take time, and it does take, and that's maybe the key, one of the key points is taking time, because time is apportioned to so many things. It's very difficult to find a time. But if you see the priority, you see the importance of it, you will, once you do it once, you will put it in the calendar, you will put it in the schedule. Because the effect can be quite dramatic. Just the simple expression of appreciation for each other. And it can clear up wrong perceptions very quickly. Somebody may have been holding the idea that somebody didn't like them, and just by hearing that the other person actually really appreciates them, but they themselves are in a place where they're a bit grumpy in the day, they're not so smiley, but that didn't mean that they were critical of the other person. And sometimes we just need that feedback, that communication, that information to flow so that we don't get stuck in unnecessary wrong perceptions about each other. And this happens in the monastic community, in the community, the long-term lay community of Plum Village. We need to do that among ourselves. We cannot avoid the need for doing this kind of work. And it can be very fruitful. It's time well spent. Thai once said that there's only two things that block us from Nirvana. I don't know if you want to go to Nirvana. If you have any idea what Nirvana is, I'm not sure I do. But I sometimes think I touch what I think maybe they're talking about. But those two things that are blocking us, maybe let's say from happiness and a sense of freedom, are our afflictions, which I'll go into a bit, and our wrong perceptions. So again, this term wrong perceptions of, we think we know what the other person is thinking, we think we know what's going on, we think our idea is the best. And the Buddha is quoted as saying that 90% of our perceptions are wrong, or 99. I don't know which, because I didn't know that they had percentages in India at that time. But in other words, the vast majority of our perceptions are wrong. And that's interesting, because the nature of a perception is that we believe it. It's like, that's what we don't question. It's our perception. Once we allow ourselves to question and just always remember, always ask the question, am I sure? It frees up a lot of possibilities for change and for growth and for beginning anew. And it just asking that question, am I sure about my perception, it also allows for the possibility of letting go. Maybe letting go of resentment, letting go of an idea that may actually, when examined, not be helping us. Sometimes our idea of happiness, maybe we think, once I get this thing, then I can relax, then I'll be happy. I get this certificate that says I've got a degree, I'm now a doctor, I'm now a member of the Institute of Engineering or some, you become a fellow in the society, or you get it may be more simple, like you get a house, and you feel that once you get that thing, everything will be okay. It'll give you safety, security, and happiness. But you don't have that thing. And your attitude towards it is, grasping, and you're causing suffering to yourself and maybe others in the process. Not to say that there's necessarily something wrong with having that thing, but it's the grasping and the fear behind it that is definitely not going to, it's not bringing you happiness in the present, and there's a good chance that with that kind of approach to getting something, the thing that you get will suddenly feel empty, and you can be very disappointed. So recognizing what we're striving for, what we may be grasping for, our idea of happiness, of security, and being able to question that, and trusting in something maybe not visible to the eye. That may be the way to go. Sister Gina said the way out is the way in, so the way to go. Not trusting in these graspables. Trust in the ungraspable, the invisible. And things will manifest, maybe things not even that you had not thought possible. Sister Gina, again, I'm mentioning her talk. I really enjoyed her talk yesterday. She said, she asked the question, who is the boss? And there is a lovely story of a very short story of as a kind of one of these Zen stories of a man standing and a man on a horse galloping by very fast, and a bystander shouting to the man as he passed, "Where are you going?" And the man on the horse calls back, "Ask the horse." "I don't know." And the image it gives us is the horse is powerful, and it's who knows where it's going. The horse is represents our habit energy. It will take us somewhere. It represents our deep volition also. What we really are, we've told ourselves that we want from life. Our strategy to get that is the direction of the horse. And we maybe haven't questioned it. Maybe that strategy formed in early childhood as a reaction to something, but we never questioned it as an adult. So we look at our habit energy as well, and we say, what can we do about our habit energy? Can we tame this horse? Can we make the habit energy go in a equally powerful but a good direction? Can we tame the horse so that the habit energy is taking us somewhere we want to go? So to get an idea of where we want to go is part of it. And then to tame the habit energy and maybe change the neural pathways, change the habit energy to be in the direction we want. learning to come back to ourselves regularly, as we do in Plum Village, is building a good habit energy. So there's nothing wrong with habit energy. It's just we want to be aware of what habit energy we have and where it leads us. Does it lead us to somewhere beneficial, or does it lead us to more suffering? And can we do something about it? We often say, this habit energy is bigger than me. I can't do anything about it. That's not true. We can always do something. Even the habit energy of the world, we become overwhelmed and we're in despair about the direction we're going, but it doesn't mean we can't do something. We shouldn't underestimate the power of stopping and the practice. A beautiful illustration of this is a boat of refugees. I don't know if it actually came from a Vietnam boat story. Could be another story, but there is an example given of a boat that was going to capsize on the sea, and everybody was panicking because of the storm, and the boat was going this way and that way, and people running around full of fear. One man sat still. Or was it one woman? I wasn't there. And with all of their concentration and calm, they just sat still. To be calm. And that energy affected people. People noticed and they did the same. And eventually everybody sat still on the boat, and the boat did not capsize. And we can imagine that scenario, we can imagine that happening. It's not so hard to see that could happen. Just one person sitting still, affecting many. How much more powerful as a community when, we do something as a community together. Sometimes we sit in cities, we call them flash mobs. We all come together at an appointed time in maybe Trafalgar Square or maybe some busy hub in the city. Many young people from the Wake Up movement organize these kinds of things. And they sit still. And everybody is welcome to join. But whether people join or not, as they walk past, people sitting still in the busy city are affected. People sitting just to sit, just to be peace, just to breathe, as an offering of peace to the city. Likewise, when we would go on walking meditations in cities with our teacher, Thai, and I've had the fortune to be on a number of those walks, it's very clear the effect it's having on people, and people get it right away. Maybe not right away, maybe there's some questions like, what on earth are you doing? Walking very slowly through the city. But at a certain point it clicks, because they feel the peaceful energy. We're not holding banners, it's not a protest. It's an offering of peace to the city by walking, as we do walking meditation here, we just bring that into the environment that we're in. And it's always appreciated. People are affected by that, and they get it. So we can do something as individuals, and we can do something as communities. And if your business is see it as a community, there's a lot of power there to affect change. So the opportunity is on for businesses to make a difference in the world. And if I want to say that going to Ireland recently, a lot of times there was quite a number of questions that concerned people feeling they were in a business or in a work where they did not feel that the values of the business were matching with their own values. Kind of the reverse. And this brought them distress, made them feel depressed, and they wanted to get out. But they felt trapped because it was their livelihood. And that is a situation which many people are in. So if we are a CEO, can we help change that? Create a culture in our business where people feel actually they want to be there. They share the vision of the business and they enjoy the culture of the business environment. I'm going to share with you something on the board. Something we call the Six Harmonies, and it came from the Buddha's time, and it's something to say how a community can be in harmony. So I wonder if this can apply to a business community. This is an observation in the Buddha's time of what are the conditions that make for a harmonious community. So it's the Six Harmonies. And the first one is they all begin with sharing. So sharing our time and together. It could be also our location. So in a sense it's like in Plum Village it's easy, we're living together 24/7. We're in, we even share rooms with each other. The second one is sharing resources. When I first came to Plum Village, I realized that because I had quite a strong sort of desire to do something for the environment and sustainability. I was already working as an environment protection officer in Scotland. I'd been there for 9 years, and so that sort of thing was on my mind. And I remember when I came to Plum Village, my primary reason to come here was because of Thai, for his teaching. I'd read his books, and That's why I came. And I was really, I realized it was a whole other dimension to my experience, was witnessing the community. Seeing people living together in harmony, and also this aspect of sharing resources being suddenly gave me the vision, wow, if we can share resources, there's so much less waste. That's such a contribution. You know, when we live where I was living, you know, how much I threw out of the fridge every week, and all the packaging, etc. So I was immediately inspired by this aspect of sharing resources. It also means that you know, everybody is benefiting from the resources, and it's not a sort of have and have not environment. And it's not based on competition. The next one is sharing the practice and the trainings. On Saturday evening there's a presentation on the 5 mindfulness trainings. So this is a kind of, let's say, let me put this down as sharing, let's say, an ethical way together. It can be, use the word values as well, but actually practicing them. And the 4th of the 6 Harmonies is to sharing decisions. This is an interesting one for how we do this. In Plum Village, we share decisions. It's by consensus. And similar to a Dharma sharing, we come together in a circle fashion, rather than kind of big, I don't know how meetings are in boardrooms, etc. I've seen these big tables sometimes. But in Plum Village, we sit very much in circles, and something may be presented, there's a decision to be made, and we wait until everybody that wants to express their view has expressed, and we make sure we give time and encouragement to those that are maybe not so normally wouldn't share. That's also a key thing. And then with this collection of ideas, we have a sort of synthesis, and the fruit of the decision is like a fruit, rather than, it's not something voted on, but it becomes clear what the decision, and then we formalize and say, okay, the consensus seems to be this, and we cook the ideas and the situation until the decision comes. And in this way, may seem to take longer, but I think but the decisions are long-lasting, and there is a harmony, and there is also then the encouragement, because everybody has had the chance to be part of that. There is an understanding, even if you don't agree with the decision, you go with the flow, and you understand that that's where the community is at the moment with that process, and maybe, you know, later there'll be another decision, but you don't speak badly about it. So you have to go to a meeting. We have meetings, and meetings are in order to create the environment for this sharing of decisions, we have to have the bell And we also read a text to ourselves to say, in this meeting we will, if there is tension, we will have a bell, we will calm down. So we have that as a basic element, and also the practice of loving speech. So in fact, I got ahead of myself because loving speech and deep listening was number 4, but it doesn't matter. It can be number 5. Now, interestingly, in the 5 mindfulness trainings that you'll hear, this is already, loving speech and deep listening are already one of this ethical way we have. So, to learn to speak with loving speech, to learn how to listen, and not just waiting for the person to share so you can get your idea in next, but actually listening. This is a practice which helps the community to be harmonious. And in fact, it's essential. And of course, the listening is not simply for making decisions. The listening is for being there for each other as friends. Being there. And being able to understand each other deeply. So, say this should have gone there. I have, the last one is sharing the insights. So it's like sharing the wisdom. It could also be sharing the vision or the aspiration. So this is the direction of the horse, of your business or your community. You completely have the same, you're looking in the same direction. And that is to sharing the insight. And you also, when you have insights about how to do better in the community, you don't hesitate to share them. So when we have people in our community that share the same, or in our business community that take on the spirit of the business as their own, then you have the makings of a happy, functioning corporation, if you like. I think I'm reminded of one example of I think it was a president of the US went to visit when they were planning to go to the moon or something, and he met the janitor who was cleaning the toilets. And he said, "What are you doing? What is your job?" He says, "Oh, I help people go to the moon." So when everybody is really in on the vision of the organization, they have the spirit, and it gives them energy, in fact. Because we all want to contribute to something good. That's part of the human nature. When I was in Ireland, part of our time was in a place called Galway, which is on the west coast of Ireland, and it's so beautiful there. There's a very nice university, and we were told that businesses don't like to send their students there because they never want to leave. The quality of life is too good, and they lose all their ambition. In Buddhism, there is something called the 3 desires. It's basically innate in all of us to the desire to love, the desire to understand, and the desire to serve. You can say contribute. to take part. So in this one you have this sort of dimension of action, of physical action, of doing something, contributing to making life more beautiful. This desire comes when we experience gratitude, and when we touch the true love. Remember the immeasurable elements that I went through. Immeasurable, we call them sometimes the immeasurable minds. So you have KPIs, is it? Key performance indicators. But these are immeasurable KPIs. Okay, you can't. Friendship. Remind me. Thank you. This is a test, okay. Joy. Not the monks, just equanimity. So we normally term this one, if we give it one word, we give it inclusiveness, trust, and reverence. Thank you. You were listening. I wasn't sure. No, I was. I knew you were listening. So for inclusiveness, somebody mentioned equanimity. So these come from an old teaching, predating the Buddha, a Brahmanic teaching, and they come Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, Upeksha, which is also, and then trust and reverence were added by Thai some years ago, just as nice to add. And within inclusiveness, we can also find the term letting go. So the word upeksha also means letting go. There is a saying in Buddhism, the joy, the joy, happiness and peace from letting go. The joy, happiness and peace that is born from letting go. Also born from mindfulness, and from concentration and insight. But letting go is, when we can let go of something, we feel light. So this also is often non-discrimination. So if we have as our innately this need to love, and I think we do, then we can look for these elements and see if they are there, to know if our love is true love. And of course, love and understanding go together. If you are a friend, it means that if you consider somebody a friend, you feel that they understand you. The more you get to know yourself, the more you can say, I've befriended myself. You get to know your body, you get to know your mind. Compassion also requires understanding. It's not enough to feel, sorry for somebody, but you get it. You get what's going on for that person. You spend enough time to understand their situation. And in this immeasurable mind, compassion as a word is not quite enough without the sense that you have the capacity to help. You have the capacity to do something, not just a feeling of compassion, not just an emotional empathy, And that capacity can be as simple as you're present for that person. You're there with them. You're able to be stable with their emotional situation, and maybe you can help in other ways. But basically, to be able to be there is a capacity of compassion. Joy. We know if there is no joy, this joy is connected with generosity. You see the other person's joy as your joy, and when you have joy, you naturally want to give. It's a natural, and the giving and the receiving, they become, you are grateful for the chance to be able to give. We know that feeling. So, when we have love, we naturally want to contribute to life, to serve. So that is also to say that when we have, and these are termed desires because they have an energy to them, a kind of, it's our lifeblood, our vitality. It enlivens us. So when we have, when we lose the grasping, it doesn't mean we lose this vitality. When we lose the ambition for getting something in the future, and we just learn how to be happy in the present moment with less, we see that we have enough. It does not mean that we lose our vitality, our energy of love, understanding, and the desire to contribute, and the capacity to contribute. There is a saying that when we get to the point of dying, we may ask ourselves just one question, and that question is: Did I love well? Did I love well? You look back and you want to know, you look back on your life and, did I contribute to life, to love in the world, to my loved ones, my family, those close to me? And, there is a strong recognition that that's what the priority was. And if your life was not spent in that direction, cultivating that, you will have regret and maybe even fear. I think Joseph Campbell said, I spent my life climbing a ladder and realizing the ladder was on the wrong wall. So you have to know what wall you're climbing. It's not enough to be climbing. So that you can, when you die, you don't have regret. Yeah? As well as knowing you've loved well, knowing that you really lived your life, There's often we ask the question, what is there life after death? And the main question to ask right now is there life before death? Because that's the opportunity is on to be in touch with life and the miracle of life. And it is through getting in touch with that miracle of life that all of the other qualities come naturally. So we don't have to do too much. once we have a connection, feel connected into life, we start to recognize, wow, this is a miracle. We see our interbeing nature, as I said at the beginning, we see that we contain our ancestors, our 5-year-old child, we contain the past and the future, we inter-are with all life. And it's an amazing, and we discover this reverence for all life as we see we're interconnected with everything. And compassion arises, friendship, joy, it all comes. So just to be able to practice together and experience that together as a community is even more powerful. And if one man or one woman can save a boatload of people, then a community can do more. If we all, and a society based on these principles of recognizing our innate need to love and to serve. And all it takes is for us to step back into our life, to step back into the present moment, and into love. So thank you for your kind attention, and I finish hopefully on time so that we can have time for the rest of the day together, sharing cherries, I see cherries around, and walking meditation. So let us make use of our time to benefit from the collective energy, and also using it to really come back to ourselves. So we can be that man or that woman in the boat. Hopefully, like Plum Village, if we're on a sea which is a bit in society, then don't think that Plum Village is not part of the real world. We're also on the same slightly undulating ocean. So let's know that what we cultivate here is very much connected, very important. So offering it here, and we offer it in the cities, we offer it in our businesses. This is the invitation and the joy to do this together. We don't have to do it alone. Yeah. So that a business community is such a good opportunity of community, because you are there together anyway. So you can find ways to benefit from that togetherness, as we try to in Plum Village. And so thank you, and we'll have 3 sounds of the bell.